Welcome on into The Verdict, presented by PhillyInfluencer.com. I'm your host, Sam Brace. This man to the right, we go way back, Mr. Tom Byrne from Sirius Satellite Radio, and of course doing a piece for PhillyInfluencer.com. Great stuff as always. TB, good to see you, my friend.
Brace.
We go way back, man. We go way back. All right, here, this is what we're going to do. We're going to be doing this throughout the course of football season. We're going to have a lot of fun. Hoping to do it 2 to 3 times a week. We shall see. But one thing we're not afraid to do is get outside the sports world. But for today, it's really going to be based off of NFL, football, NCAA as well. So we got a lot of good stuff to get into. Let's not waste any more time. Let's start with this. Tom, NFL was enamored with one trade that happened over the weekend. The Eagles, that's right, 1 week before the season, decided to trade their starting quarterback to the Minnesota Vikings, Sam Bradford to the Vikings. In return, the Eagles get a 2017 first-round pick. Draft happening in Philadelphia. We like that. And a 2018 fourth-round selection with some caveats. It could improve up to a second-round pick if the Minnesota Vikings, I believe, win the Super Bowl. So go Vikes! Yeah. With that being said, simple question. Let's get this ball rolling. Did the Eagles do the right thing with this trade?
Howie Roseman should be charged, with 2 counts theft, 1 count robbery. 2 counts theft because of the first and fourth round pick, 1 robbery for the crime in its entirety. This is an absolute steal for the Philadelphia Eagles. To me, it's amazing they were able to get a first round pick and a fourth for a veteran quarterback who, Sean, has yet to prove himself. He was the #1 pick out of Oklahoma. He keeps getting rewarded. He's like Jeff Fisher. Yeah. I have no idea why these guys who are mediocre keep getting rewarded. Sam Bradford has a worse winning percentage than Sean Hill, has a worse completion percentage than Sean Hill, has a worse touchdown percentage than Sean Hill. He is closer to Sean Hill than he is Teddy Bridgewater.
Sean Hill's been in the league since 2002.
It's crazy. I couldn't believe this when I found out the Eagles got this sort of return. And it doesn't even matter what the Vikings do. Hey, get to the Super Bowl. I'd love to get that second round pick. To get this back for Bradford, to me, unbelievable for Philadelphia.
Yeah, this was it was surprising. This was in the cards. You know, when they went out and signed Sam Bradford to that deal, and obviously his agent, they wanted to be dealt, they wanted to be traded. Nobody really wanted to step up and meet that bidding price. Here it is, Teddy Bridgewater. Go buy your Bridgewater jerseys now, because if it wasn't for him going down with an injury, and I mean that because I don't want to come off cold and callous, but if he doesn't go down, this deal isn't taking place, and the Eagles have 3 quarterbacks. And oh, by the way, Carson Wentz, that's what it all revolves around. #2 overall pick. He's not playing this year, maybe till November or December, but he's not getting the reps right now. So I don't see how people cannot like this move for the Eagles.
I don't know how you don't like it either. To me, it's an absolute slam dunk. Well, you're going to win 7 games with Sam Bradford. Eagles fans will be bored stiff. By the way, I got to rewrite that Eagles season preview.
Oh, yes,
I did a couple of weeks ago. Throw that out of the trash can. But now you get Carson Wentz starting from the beginning. You need to see what this kid has. And by the way, nobody knows how good Carson Wentz is going to be. Nobody is watching North Dakota State football. But we'll find out. In any profession, you get better by watching people do what they do. Or you get better by being in that particular spot where you're learning. So for instance, for you, do you get better by watching Mike Jarek, or do you get better by sitting next to Mike Jarek and working with him? The hands-on experience. Do I get better by watching Christopher Bad Dog Russo or Stephen A. Smith? I get better by actually having the headphones on and doing a show. Carson Wentz is not going to get better by holding a clipboard.
Yep.
Now, give him the football. Let's see what he can do. It's going to be a tough indoctrination, though. I'm not naive. They're not going to win a heck of a lot of football games.
All right, that's the Eagles side of things. Let's look at Minnesota. Minnesota won the division last year over the Green Bay Packers, to a lot of people's surprise. Go ahead and look at those standings. Great defense. I like Zimmer, good coach. Bridgewater didn't really do a lot for me last year, in my opinion. But did it make sense for the Vikings to go out and make this move?
No, not for me. Because, again, A.J. McCarron, is he a better option in your opinion? I say yes.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Colin Kaepernick?
Sure.
He's won big playoff games on the road. Now, he brings a little bit of a circus with him. Whatever you feel about that, he is going to bring extra attention. Maybe that played into it, maybe not. I would have rather gone that route. I do not go get a guy like Sam Bradford, who again is closer to Sean Hill than Bridgewater. You're right about Bridgewater. He hasn't proven much. No. But I'll take his ability to run the football and throw the football before I take the statue that is Sam Bradford.
And I believe Vegas threw out, well, there was one website that listed what type of win production Sam Bradford brings to the table. It wasn't all that much.
I saw that.
I think it was like a .02 or something like that. Sean Hill's been in the league since 2002. My goodness, some things that surprise me when you start reading. All right, that was some NFL conversation. We'll come back to that in just 1 second. But let's move on to NCAA football. What a great weekend it was. I know, Tom, the Irish lost. Yep, you're not feeling all that good about that one. Tough game. really good game, I'm allowed to say. I mean, I enjoyed watching it.
It's more than compelling.
Yes. I mean, to return the extra point, that was just bananas. But let me ask you this, because obviously when you watched the opening weekend, there was a bunch of upsets, but the one thing that stood out to me was Alabama again, 52-6 victory over USC, and USC was fired up for that game, and they got the doors blown off them. Can we get some new blood in college football, or is it just Alabama's year again?
Nick Saban's got that program to the point now it's recruiting itself. I mean, 5 stars are wanting to go to Alabama more than any other school. Jalen Hurt, this freshman, oh my goodness, he looked good. So now their biggest weakness could actually be a strength. And the only reason Bateman started is because they didn't want him to transfer. It's probably the same reason Brian Kelly started Malik Zaire with Kaiser, because they don't want these kids to transfer. Ohio State a couple years ago went with 3 quarterbacks.
Sure.
People are going to do this now. It might hurt them. It hurt Notre Dame. It did not hurt Bama. To answer your question, no. Look at the SEC. I thought Ole Miss, 18 returning starters. They have Ole Miss at home. They have Alabama at home. But LSU lost to Wisconsin.
Yep.
Brandon Harris is awful. What happened to player development? To answer your question, no. Bama's going to win it again in all likelihood.
Georgia? Anything with Georgia?
Jacob Eason, 5-star freshman. You worry a little bit about that. Then again, Hurt's a freshman too. First year for Kirby Smart. I can't say they win a chip yet.
Okay. And Clemson, as always. Clemson looked good. Yeah, you have to. Yeah. Clemson's a fun team to watch.
Yeah, they are.
You know,
they grinded it out though the other day.
Sure, they did, and I thought that they got a little lucky at times, but still, I enjoy watching them play. Going back to last year, and of course, how about this new team on the block, Houston?
Yeah, they were impressive.
That was a fun game to watch.
And it wasn't Greg Ward Jr. running around making plays, arms, legs, 56-49. Ed Oliver, that 5-star recruit of the defensive line,
yeah,
it was a beast. That to me, Oklahoma, good team. That to me was the most impressive thing about the weekend, the way Houston looked. Wisconsin, it's more about the ineptitude of LSU.
Yeah.
Good point. Houston's legit. Temple's going to get crushed by Houston, by the way.
The boy knows college football. Yeah, we didn't.
Welcome back, Temple, by the way. Losing at home by double digits to Army.
Ooh.
Good to have you back.
We didn't go there for that reason. But he knows college football, and I'm looking forward to talking college football all season long with Tom Byrne. All right, third and final question here on The Verdict, presented by PhillyInfantry.com. How about this? A little throwback. 1995. I know you remember this. I remember this. Cal Ripken broke Lou Gehrig's record for playing in 2,131 straight baseball games. That's just incredible. Him circling around Camden Park after the game. They dropped it down there, out there in right field, the numbers. I remember it like it was yesterday, but 1995, a long time ago, Tom. So give me this. Give me one record in sports that you want to see broken, because I don't know if we're going to ever see that record broken.
I'll give you 3. 50 points a game, 1 game with 55 rebounds, 1 game with 100-plus points. Wilt did it all. Wilt Chamberlain, the pride.
How many rebounds?
Of Overbrook. 55 rebounds in the game. I don't even think there are 55 rebounds to grab now. Okafor, Noel, I don't care who you have. MB, they're not getting 55 as a team. And what infuriates me is when you hear somebody, even the great Stephen A., goes over his top players of all time and does not put Wilt Chamberlain in the top 5. Now, why?
How?
Go back and look at the 67 playoffs, what he did against Cincinnati, led by Oscar Robertson, what he did against Bill Russell and the 3,722-time defending champion Boston Celtics, and then against Rick Barry and, of course, Nate Thurman, rather. He is unbelievable. To this day, to me, at worst, he is the second greatest NBA player and basketball player on a whole of all time.
Yeah, I don't know how you have a list and not put Wilt on that.
It's stupid, and it really exposes you, if you ask me. You
have
to understand the history of the game.
Yeah, I have to go, speaking of history of the game, when you talk about records, that's exactly where you go to. But for me, it's baseball, because it's still confusing. When you talk about the home run leaders, you talk about the all-time career home run leader, it's Barry Bonds right now, statistically in the record books, but it's not.
I know.
You know, and I just want Giancarlo Stanton. Is he clean? Am I allowed to say?
I believe so.
Okay.
For now.
I think he's clean.
Until the next test.
Can he just hit 81, put Barry in the rear view, and then hopefully he stays around long enough, and I don't care if it's a Marlins uniform or not, but he comes up with 760 some odd, because I think Barry finished with like 762.
Yeah.
So it's going to take a long time for that to happen, but I just hate when that conversation comes up, and it's just like, you have to say Barry Bonds is the all-time leader in home runs. You have to say it.
It is crazy where baseball is with the steroids.
Sure.
Because at some point you're going to have to put these guys in. Create a different wing if you have to. Sean, if you believe Jose Canseco, there's already somebody in. We all laugh at Canseco.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah.
A lot of what he has said has come to fruition.
No, you're right about that. You're right about that. All right, yo, some quick hitters on the way out. Some NFL quick hits. We want to do just have a little fun. This is when we'll mix it up. Some 3 quick questions from man TB right here. Quick hits. Broncos or Patriots? They kick off the NFL season on Thursday. Give me which one of these teams will struggle a little bit than the other one. Maybe not miss the playoffs, but if you had to pick one team that's going to struggle, Broncos or Panthers, excuse me, who you got?
Oh, Panthers or Broncos?
Yes.
Okay. Well, same answer. Broncos.
Okay.
Trevor Siemian,
Yeah.
11 picks, 7 touchdowns his final year at Northwestern. Now second year in the league with the Broncos. Good luck. That is crazy to me. They're destined for 8-8 and missing the playoffs.
Just go right to Lynch already. You know,
Yeah, you might as well.
So
And by the way, how bad is Mark Sanchez? That you can't beat out Trevor Siemian? You couldn't beat out.
now he's at the
Mark
Cowboys.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
Will the Vikes make the playoffs?
Yeah, I believe they'll make the playoffs. I think Green Bay is a better football team. This is the crazy part about the Vikings. Even with Bridgewater, they're not as good as Cam and the Panthers. They're not as good as Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. They're not as good as Rodgers and the Packers or Carson Palmer and the Cardinals. They take a little step backward now, even with Bradford. Maybe they get the final wild card, one and done. Thank you, Sammy. Not worth the rental.
Nope. And third and final question here on Quick Hits. One sleeper team from the NFL. One sleeper team. Doesn't matter. Don't buy into it. Whatever. Give me one sleeper team for you this year.
Sleeper team.
Yeah. I'm obviously gonna go to the cliche answer.
What's that?
I'm going to the Jags.
Are you really?
5-11 last
You
year.
believe in Bortles?
I do. I like Bortles. I like
right.
Bortles. I like the Gus Bus. Give me the Jags. They make the playoffs this year.
Wow. I tell you, they have the pieces on the outside.
Yes, they
Bortles
do.
worries me. I'll give you the Titans. I don't know if they're ready to make the playoffs yet, but I love Marcus Mariota.
Gotcha.
I love them at Oregon. They penalize him because he's the greatest athlete on the field, or they say he's a product of the system. And you know me, I'm a chip guy. So I have no issue with that system. He'll be just fine in the NFL. He and Winston are going to be fantastic. Look for the Titans to be better than the experts think this year.
Ooh, how about that? I just had a fantasy draft. I got Mariota in like the 13th round.
That's good value.
Yes it is.
Yes, it is.
Can't beat that. All right, awesome stuff as always. Looking forward to having a great season with Mr. Tom Byrne on The Verdict, presented by PhillyUpshire.com. Please, any questions, comments, or anything you want to put at us, just go ahead and leave it right there in the comment section. We'll go ahead and respond back to it. We're going to have a lot of fun this season. For Tom Byrne, I'm Sean Brace. This is The Verdict.